You're such an asshole.
Thank you to my audience for letting me know the previous attempt at this was riddled with audio issues. If you could do the same if I'm stuttering, that seems to be a common problem with Linux. No wife is perfect. No wife is perfect. I had no delusion. Oh, wait till you get. Yeah, I'm aware. I knew there was going to be troubles. It is still, thus far, better than Windows 11. So I'd appreciate if you guys could let me know if the audio is audio good. Audio said, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. We got the regular guys in the audience. Planes, what do you work from home? You're always in the audience. I'm not complaining. All right, we here at Asshole Consulting are going to earn our reputation and our name, because if there is someone who needs a swift kick in the ass, it is this guy, because he is both a threat to himself. He is a doctor, and I don't know if you guys know anything about being a doctor, but it takes a long time to become one, and his career is at risk. This guy needs a swift kick in the ass. Otherwise, he is going to lose his career or have nowhere near the career he's going to have. And also, being in the medical profession, you're going to be a risk to others. Maybe not a death risk. Like if you were a surgeon, I'd be like, what the fuck? But he's not a surgeon. But you're going to have the health of people in your hands, kind of like pilots have the people. But goof off and it's fun in games. Ha ha ha. What I recommend now is this: the man doesn't have to watch the whole movie. Patch Adams, horrible movie, by the way, horrible movie. He just needs to watch the point or the episode or the scene where Philip Seymour Hoffman is just dressing down Robin Williams. I have the potential to become a great doctor. That, don't waste your time watching the whole of the movie. You just got to see that. For those of you who have seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. So, let me had to reboot. Had to reboot the computer because nobody does anything right anymore. Let me pull up this entire email exchange. Or do I have to go into? God, Jesus, I think I have to. Nope, here we go. Thank God. One thing went right today. One person did their job today. We will anonymize a lot of things because I do not want this man to be identified. I want him to continue being a doctor, but a good one. My name is Anonymous. I'm a youngish man. I'm a certain height and I'm black male. I first found your channel after graduating in a year. 2 videos stuck with me. Don't try until you're 35 and just don't fuck up. I wish I was in a better financial position, live paycheck to paycheck, use only cash. I think I have a potential to be a minimalist before reaching out, but I feel my age is the right checkpoint to get your honest, no bullshit advice. Oh, I'm giving it to you. You need this whether you realize it or not. You have always come off as a man who suffered and never played the victim. No, I don't miss my younger years and suffer from occasional regrets. I honestly just want my 30s onward, I can generally say he's a younger man, to be a little less dramatic. Choose to be a minimalist. Choose to make it less dramatic. We're going to go over what you've done. Don't tell me that somebody else was piloting your mind at the time. You were the only pilot of your mind and your body, your choices. All right? Stop taking the white girl blood. Stop shooting it in your veins like, oh my God, I'm just this twig in a river and I just flow wherever I'm. But just, no. Knock it off. Here's a quick life summary. Don't want to. I don't want to. Parents gave terrible advice, but I love them regardless. That's true. Your location doesn't matter because I don't want to identify you. You are doing that. From 18 to med school, life was decent. I fucked a lot of bitches, made some good friends, and lost interest in the whole love narrative. Caught some criminal charges that I sorted out. Why? Buddy, I don't care if you did it or not. What element are you? Are a fucking doctor. I don't mean like the prestige that comes with a doctor. You are going from how many years do you spend in, how much time do you spend in school? Right? 5 to 18, you have to legally be in school. And then what? And then with what residency and all that shit, I've never added up. It ain't like near a decade. And you're running with Element. Were you at a party where there was pot? I mean, I'm not against pot. What are you doing? You have so much of all your fucking youth invested in becoming a doctor, and you're running with a criminal element? That assumes you didn't commit a crime, right? Everybody's innocent in this. No. What the fuck are you doing catching criminal charges? And I don't want to hear the fucking, well, you don't understand. It was this unique situation where I was at. No, I don't give a shit. Why are you hanging out with that element? You are so lucky to be a doctor now. I'm not sure how the medical boards work. I don't know. Maybe it was a very minor charge. Do you like risking throwing your life away? I mean, it was in the past. I presume you're a more mature man now, but this is where the problem starts because there's a little bit of this carryover of stupid fucking decisions. I gained a pretty relentless blue collar work ethic. Working at a place overnight was probably the most impactful. Now, here's where a lot of people say affirmative action. Yeah, you're not capable of doing it. You only got it because whatever skin color, birth type, gender, whatever else. See, you have hustle. I want to say where you work, but this guy earned it. This guy busted his ass off. Mommy and daddy weren't paying his way through school. Which, by the way, you probably have a lot of debt you got to pay off, right? Are we going to keep making smart decisions or dumb decisions? Med school. Everybody was surprised I got into med school. Yeah, because you're acting the clown when you were younger, at least. I just knew as a black man, all I had to do was crush the MCAT. So we admit it's affirmative action, right? No need for these stupid African Asian mission trips or writing a math textbook at 16. Academically, I was sharp, but very unprofessional. Going to class in a do-rag, white tee, and my dick hanging out, both figuratively and literally. What? You say you have your dad. Did he beat you once? I mean, discipline, not physically abuse. You got suspended for cheating. But truthfully, it's because I was fooling around too much, women, ego, and academic politics. What the fuck? Whoa. You go to school, you shut the fuck up, you pass your classes, and then you move on. Why are you getting involved in right? Well, I wasn't cheating. Of course you weren't, buddy. Sure, of course. Of course. Why are you even getting accused of cheating? Who gives a shit about your drama? I can understand women taking your time in college. It took all of our time. And academic politics, what are you talking about? Shut the fuck up. Go to school. Do your fucking job. Get A's. Get into med school. And guess what? It's the same fucking thing in the real world. I'm hoping this is in your past. You're not carrying any of this unprofessional drama, shooting up the white girl blood in her vein. Do you watch soap operas? Did you like the drama? Everybody told me to do a thing. I'm really trying to protect you here and beg forgiveness because the overall goal of the suspension was to shame me into dropping out. I decided to just do my time, work at the place, and crush my medical board exams. Boy, you might want to watch Patch Adams because it's the story of a real guy, and he's just a natural at med school. Like, sounds like you got the actual ability. You got to see that scene with Philip Seymour Hoffman. To you, it's a game. That's too bad Philip Seymour Hoffman died. One of the best actors, but heroin. Another fool throwing away a great opportunity because of stupid decisions. Graduated a year later. I think I made the right choice. Residency. I ended up in a certain subspecialty, right? I don't want anyone to know who you are, man. because this is a shit. This is a bad confession. I ended up in a particular specialty and not a different program because that different program didn't want to deal with my past record. Already there's an opportunity gone. There's a fucking opportunity gone because you were playing the Jamoke show. Residency has been a breath of fresh air. I work hard. My job and patients respect my knowledge and bedside manner and work ethic. So you got it. You can do it. But there's all this shit here that can fuck you up down the road. You got the ability. You got the brains. I've learned to keep my head down and stop having my ass out in the street, no sleeping around at work. Good. Car. Paid off sensible car. That makes sense. I walk to work every day. My last car was, I remember those. I can't say what it was because it's a 90s shitmobile. I remember them. Plans. Planning to work in a hospital for a few years. Lowest offers I've seen are here. Listen, this is the lowest offers he's getting. 200,000+ for 6 months of work. Buddy, do you know what you have? Gold in your hand. And we're going to get to the right. You sound like working nights kind of straighten you up a little bit. You at least tell me with your words, not to stick your pen in company ink. And by that, I mean, fuck your female coworkers. Okay. You know not to do that, right? Especially you doctors. And I don't know, you could probably speak to this better to me, speak to it better than me, but do black women, like if you're a black doctor, is that like, holy shit, look out? Are you like an NBA star where they just want to get Prager's with you? Do you got to worry about that more than the average guy on the street? Here's what it is. Because you're playing the Jamoke show, you are unaware of all these external threats to the incredibly good thing you got. And if there's any of that element of you being irresponsible at the end of the day, that's what this is you being irresponsible. It can all go away. I'll consider retraining to the original thing I'd like to get into my original. Well, see, you done right. Do you understand right now, because if you're goofing around, that you are not as good of a doctor as you could have been? I mean, you probably, like, not in terms of your ability, but you could be making more in the original subspecialty you wanted. But you fucked up. You thought it was all a show. Everyone says, oh my God, a black guy. Come on in. Oh no, that's okay. That's okay. I will lower the standard. Like, no. Standards is what takes raw iron and it's not galvanized. Someone correct me on it. It tempers. Is that the word? It tempers you into steel. But because, well, frankly, liberal white women and everybody else want to feel good. Oh my God, look, we're helping out the black guy. No, you're not helping him out. No one held you to standards. And when they did, they still passed you along. And you're learning your lesson a little bit, like that blue collar honest work you did, that was probably the best thing to happen to you. It might save your career. But you got to realize all the touchy feel good bullshit. You got to, yeah, it got you where you got your brick of gold. But it's also going to be your undoing if you don't turn. It's not turn around. It's just like shit, man. You're unaware of all these big exposed flanks that could threaten the great thing you got. Debt, $500,000 in student loans. Now this is how affirmative action costs the individual. Lost over $100,000 of scholarships because of reasons stated, but you lost $100,000 in scholarships? You lost $100,000 in scholarships. Dude, I could live 5 years on $100,000. I mean, back in the day, of course, inflation. Live a lot longer than that. I know I can pay this down in 3 years. Good. It just requires a controlled spending via minimalism plus proper pitch management. Do you sound like a doctor? Or do you? Let me ask you. Do you sound like a doctor? Proper bitch management, bro. Or do you sound like some dude, bro, a frat boy, or some ghetto trash guy? What do you sound like? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying you got to be Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable over here. You don't have to be Thaddeus Wick Dick Suck the Third. Doctors don't comport themselves like that. I mean, with your friends and your buddies in the locker room, yeah. But is this how you talk? I've been cleaning up my credit cards. Here we go. This isn't you when you were 22. This isn't you playing the Jamoke Show. This is you at your age now playing the Jamoke Show. You right. I'm going to translate it into English. I've since cleaned up my credit cards. Just settled $25,000 in old credit cards for $12,000. So I'm going to translate that to you. I stole $13,000 from people. That's what you did. You're a thief. I don't care if it's legal. I don't care if the court, right? It's not illegal to file for bankruptcy or to settle or all that, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you took $13,000 that wasn't yours. You think this is acceptable? You think that's okay? And I understand going to medical school. I get that, right? Time, money's tight, but you took on $500,000 in student loans, all right? What were you doing with, you want to talk about minimalism? It's confusing. It's very confusing to me. You got one of the most sensible, obvious, make good sense cars, right? You walk to work. That makes sense. Where the fuck did this credit card debt come from? And where did you think it was acceptable? Like, well, I'm just going to chintz out on 13,000 of it. Is that a professional? Is that a doctor? Look, if you were the manager for a Wendy's, it wouldn't matter. If you worked for some other piss shit firm, like say Walgreens, you manage the pharmacy, which isn't managed, I wouldn't care. You're in charge of humans' health and maybe even their lives. And you're stealing money from people who lent it to you on your credit cards? How is that going to affect this mentality behind closed doors in your private life? How much of that is going to spill over into your professional life? Right? It has consequences because other people's lives are at stake here. Same thing with that pilot. Right now, of course, they're debating, it's still under investigation and all that other shit. You're in a position in this society that has tremendous responsibility. You are not the managers of a Wendy's, sir. You're a fucking doctor, and you're not paying your credit cards? I don't think the taxpayer got screwed over in my move. No, but your lenders did. The lender, well, they're the banks. No, they're not the banks. You know who owns the banks? Yes, some rich people own banks. Yes, they own a disproportionate amount of share. You know who else owns the banks, which ultimately own the debt that you were supposed to pay them back? Pension funds for old Grandma Tilly and Grandpa Herbert. And it doesn't matter who owns it, whether they're rich or not. It wasn't your fucking money, and you took it. You stole it. Credit has risen to 650. Dropped to sub 5 when I let the cards go into collections. Okay, let's talk about another thing. And this is, you're not the only one here, although it's on most doctors are horrible with money. All right. So and you want to achieve minimalism. Your senses are right. You got financial troubles. You got financial problems. I mean, not really, because once you become a doctor or get out of residency or however that works, you can pay these off in 3 years. But for the love of God, knock it off with this low credit card debt or not paying back your credit card debt. Because if you have a low credit score, you know what happens? You don't get the house. Like this is on your record forever, man. They're going to look back and say, look at this guy. Look at this Jamoke over here. He's making $200,000 a year, but he don't pay people back. And you want to get a house? Buddy, knock it off with the childish bullshit. Pay back your fucking debts. Don't ever let your credit cards go into delinquency or default. If people give you not your money, give not your money back to them on the agreed terms. Be a responsible adult. I'm not doing this because you're a dumbass and you're not paying back your debts and you're dishonorable. I am doing it for those reasons too, but this is going to prevent you from, would you like to own a house? Would you like to have a mortgage rate of 6% or 8.5%? There's the difference. I mean, I don't know what your parents told you or all that, but the adults, at least they should. The reason they tell you these things isn't to be downers. They're telling it because it's the most effective thing to help you. It's to make your life better, right? So don't marry the girl with hot, big tits and long blonde hair who's like crazy in the sack but has 3 kids. Don't do that. Have sex, but don't do that. Well, why? She's fun, big tits, blonde hair, or whatever floats your boat. They're trying to help you. And all you did was fuck it out. Now it's not the end of the world, but this is going to make your life harder down the road. Why? No one held you to standards, apparently. No one beat your ass. Maybe it's just culturally acceptable not to pay back your loans here. So knock that shit off and never do it again. Love life. I got baby fever, not wife fever. I still get women easily, but I don't mess around at work. Nurses, caseworkers, even doctors shoot the shot. I just give a smirk and decline. Good. Are you aware that other women, once they find out you're a doctor, are going to probably pull the same shit? And oops, I'm preggers. You do. Okay, here's one of your flanks. Do you understand you have a tremendous flank exposed to getting sperm jacked? Not at work. Okay, that's very smart. Don't dick your dick in company ink. You're doing that. Good. Are you aware that if I got a buddy I know who's a young doctor, such as yourself. And I'm like, don't tell him you're a doctor. I want to get girl. Don't tell him you're a doctor. Say you're a nurse. Say you're something else, right? Why do you got a stethoscope? Oh, I'm a nurse. Why does it say doctor? Oh, that was a misspelling. It should say nurse. What's the, oh, that means Andre, but they misspelled it. It looks like doctor, but it's really Andre Johnson, not Dr. Johnson. Not a doctor. Are you kidding? Yeah, man. I know you like the ladies. Everybody likes the ladies. Be real careful. Look into a vasectomy. You're a medical professional. You know all about the risks and the drawbacks and everything else there. But I don't want to work around. I just give a smirk and decline. There are plenty of hardworking, attractive black women out there. I'll figure that part out later. Thank the Lord I come off as Tyrone, so I don't need to tell the world my profession. I say, so what's your question? If you're on the right track, should you find a wife? Are you worried about your 30 slipping by? And here we go. You went against your better judgment and used AI. Huh? You using AI? Where has cutting corners got you? At the end of the day, that's what this is about. You are cutting corners. I don't have to pay my credit card debt. I can cheat in class. I can do this. I can do that. And where did it get you? It cost you $100,000 in scholarships. It's lowered your credit score, which is going to cost you, unless you repair your credit very good, very well, whatever. If you don't repair your credit, it's going to cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars in more interest expense. You're a doctor, right? What happens when people cut corners on their diet, right? They shorten their life expectancy and the risk for various health problems kick up and they have a lower or a lesser standard of living, right? What you think life management, which is essentially what we're talking about here, the primary component being financial. You think you can cut corners in responsibility and finances and education and career and there not be consequences? I will never run out of clients. I will never run out of clients. That whole lie that you can have your cake and eat it too, that there's an easy way out, that you could avoid the hard way. You could, you can act like a douche canoe and not have consequences. Your biggest risk is you're knocking some girl up because you're not tight enough on your flanks. Because a lot of people that you get by with shit because of affirmative action, and that has blinded you. I was going to say dulled your senses and awareness too, though, that it has blinded you to real life risks that once you leave this once you leave this pretty artificial environment set up by liberal white women who just want to save the black man, all right, or save the children, save about whatever. This cute little environment that you've lived in called academia, college, and you're out in the real world, they're not protecting you no more. Did you notice the bank didn't give a shit? Oh, are you black? Well, then, sorry, sir. Your credit score should be 700. We'll just take care of that right away. No, I didn't give a fuck, did they? Yeah, banks aren't going to give a fuck either. You come in, I got a shitty credit score, but I'm black. Oh, he's black. Oh, we were going to give you the 7.8% interest rate because your credit score is shit. But since you're black, here's your 5.7% interest rate. That's not going to happen. They don't even know. They don't see. You don't send a picture in when you file an application. Matter of fact, nowadays, most of the lending is done by a robot. It's automated underwriting. If you want, you can look it up. It's a tremendously boring thing. So I asked unto you what general advice, or no, yeah, I said, what general advice do you have for me here's your answer to my question. What general advice do you have for me as I go into my 30s? You could go down any route you want, hence why I wrote all that shit. Note, I know I'm on the right track. You are, but those railroad ties are awfully shaky. I was about to go off on you for missing what I thought was an obvious question stated in the first part of my message. I wrote that long-ass email specifically to avoid follow-up, but against my better judgment, I used ChatGPT. Do you use ChatGPT in your diagnosis as a doctor too? See, now you and I are wasting. Now think about this. This is not under the general domain of affirmative action and you fucking up your career with exposed flanks. But this is more of a microeconomic thing that's very important for you to understand. And I go back a couple videos on the corporate mistake tax we all pay. You're a doctor, right? If you're going to make $200,000 plus an hour, $200,000 a year, that's $100 plus an hour, right? 1 hour of your time is very valuable. Now, I don't make no $100 an hour. I bill out at 150. But over the time and dealing with all this, I'm around 55, 70, but I don't work no. But I also want to go hiking. You and I are highly compensated men, at least on a per hour basis. Do we have time for miscommunications like that? No, we don't. Now, you're a young man. You got 40 years at least of a future career. Do you see where you chinsing out? You cutting corners using ChatGPT to audit your work for you cost us both, and not an hour, but it cost you 5-10 minutes of your time, cost me 5-10 minutes of my time, which is what's 1/6 of 200 to 6 goes into 20. That's 30. Am I doing it right? $33 an hour. Yeah, it costs you $33. You know what that is? That's a good sandwich. That's a good lunch for you. Now, imagine if everybody is equally lazy, which they are, even more lazy. And we all keep fucking up. And we all use ChatGPT here, or I fail to respond to an email there, and it adds up and it adds up and it adds up. It's not going to destroy the engine, but it's throwing a single grain of sand into the engine, and it slows it down and slows it down on an incremental level. But you multiply times 1,000 grains of sand. Now your engine's starting to not work as good as it should be. Use ChatGPT. Are you using that to diagnose your clients as well? I hope not. Because what if ChatGPT gets it wrong? Oh, here it's just a minor miscommunication on our part. We just have to read a little bit more. Oh, you had Chat GPT do the diagnosis and it came up with the wrong diagnosis. And $40,000 of health expenditure later, the dude's kidney stones are still there. This is where if you are the manager of a Wendy's, it wouldn't fucking matter. You are a doctor. Tremendous costs and consequences are dependent on you making the right decision. I used Chat GPT to trim some fat, and it looks like it cut out the main point. Fuck AI and its creators. No, fuck you for using it. Don't do this. I'm just this twig in the river, and it flows me. I just help. Knock it off. Knock it the fuck off. Philip Seymour Hoffman, a great doctor. Anyway, just send me the link. No need to go back and forth over email like a bunch of bitches. This is how a doctor talks. Look, I'm not expecting you to be Ben Carson, but maybe you ought to aim for being Ben Carson. Look him up. I'll just pay for another session. Appreciate all you do. Keep watching free, blah, blah, blah. I say, okay, yeah, I got this. I got some advice I can give. It will cost $200 if you're interested. And I don't mind charging $200 because you stole $13,000. So fuck you. Don't, oh man, don't complain about the price. You stole credit card money, okay? I'll get these people living at home. Hey, man, I'm 37 and my mommy don't understand. I'm collecting disability. Oh, okay. I'll charge you $400. Oh my God, that you ain't even paying for it. You live at home. You collect disability. You're faking your disease. Knock it the fuck off. Bitching and whining that I took $400 of their money. So just consider this. I'm from the credit card people. And I charge on the length that we do, it would normally cost $60. The extra $140, just consider that you giving it back to the people you took the 13 grand from. If you're interested in making the payment, but also it will be asshole consulting. It won't be nice. I expect nothing less. Once again, appreciate all you do respectfully. Cool. I'll tell you this right now. With the mistakes you're making, which aren't as of yet, you have to settle some credit card debt. Not the end of the world. You cheated or you helped someone cheat or whatever. You caught fleas from the dogs that were cheating. At the best, or you outright cheating. For whatever reason, that didn't come to bite you in the ass. So far, no torpedo has hit the magazine or the ammo dump in your ship. But you got to tighten up your ship and you got to get a little bit more professional here. Otherwise, something down the road will destroy this incredible career you have here. And already, because you played the fuck around game, you're not as good of a doctor as you could have been because you're not in the specialty that you'd like to go in. Matter of fact, let me look at what is pay for. I want to look and see what you could have had. Oh my God. What? Hang on. That's starting pay. Let me do starting pay. Dude. Let me show you where your fuck around game cost you. Okay. You say you could start as a doctor around the low 200s. Had you gotten into your specialty and not played the fuck around game, you would have been making around $380,000 starting. That's like almost twice your salary now. You've already paid tremendous costs because everyone just let you go. Oh, we need a minority in the seat. We gotta look good. Oh, we gotta pass on. See how they failed you? Do you see how they failed you? Yelling and screaming and discipline and ass kicking are not because people hate you or want to make fun of you. They do it because they give a flying fuck. Not to mention, they also care about the people you might treat. Or the passengers might want to land safely on an airplane. But it's not the customers that only suffer because of affirmative action. It's you. You could have made a shit ton more money for the same amount of work. Well, probably a little bit more, I guess, with the specialty, right? But not that much. And don't even get me started about what it's going to cost you in terms of extra interest on a mortgage should you want to buy a house. So here are my notes. All right. I do not think you are the level of responsible in your overall life to be that of a doctor. I'm not saying you can't be a doctor. I'm not saying you don't have the certifications or ability to be a doctor, but your what would it be? Your personal life or your personal choices are not becoming of a doctor. And it is going to bite you in the ass somehow. It already has. It's cost you what? Roughly $185,000 a year. Now, I don't know where else it could, right? I can't forecast your future career or income, but you're going to say, yeah, them bitches over at the thing, even if it's in private and people are like, well, that guy's weird. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to invite him to whatever, the doctor symposium on testicle fungus, whatever, I don't know. And then you miss out on meeting the testicle fungus expert and you're like, oh my God, I'm really fascinated about testicle fungus. And then you could have been a specialist in that field, right? I'm more worried about your personal life fucking up your career. The most obvious vector would be you knocking up some gal who finds out you're a doctor and she sperms jack you. And now instead of you focusing on being a good doctor and busting your ass off or whatever it is that you would do in your career, whatever you want, you got to deal with baby mama drama. That's your biggest exposed flank. I think you're so much street aware of that. But what you're not aware of is kind of basic personal fight, which a lot of doctors aren't. Most doctors have the problem is they sacrifice their youth. They're nerdy, they get out, and then they go into debt for a Ferrari and a car, and they buy everything, and they never do the math. They could patch up a heart, but they can't do the math. And then they got a shit ton of debt, living paycheck to paycheck like you are. You have it on the other end. You were typical 20-something pissing away your money. This is the shit. This is tomorrow Homer's problem. And it's going to have a tangible effect on your mortgage costs should you want to get that. And also employment, right? Look, this affirmative action shit will only carry you so far. Oh my God, a black doctor, we need him. And it will only, have you noticed how a lot of DEI and affirmative action hires are getting fired now? Because it's all bullshit. Now, unlike most of the, like a DEI executive, right? Someone in like the DEI chief diversity officer, which is bullshit. You actually have a real skill, but those days are over or they're coming to a close. They're not as good as they used to be. And so if you have lesser performance or you're chinsing or using Chat GPT, it's going to have an effect. Somehow it's going to have an effect on your career and your personal life. And so, Ben Carson, I'm not saying we all become Ben Carson. If you want to look up to somebody, he's almost too reserved. I'm not saying don't have any personality, but doctors don't use the word bitches. Unless, of course, you're in the locker room and hanging out with your buddies and your chums. All right. So let's get our finances together. Let's never do this shit again. If you have an attitude or a mentality that because everyone's let you get and slide by, realize the days of sliding. Like if you what about medical malpractice? There's a huge risk. Think about that. You want to go start a practice? Do you have malpractice? What if you get more because you're just cutting corners or it's never happened that you put your hand on the stove. You put the hand on the stove, someone put a plate underneath it. The fun times are over now. You're not a 21-year-old jamoke anymore. So they're going to be like, did he just say bitches? That's weird. That's kind of odd. Number 2, okay, right now you're living paycheck to paycheck. You don't got your finances. I don't think you're responsible enough to be a father. I know you said you got baby rabies. Whoa, buddy, you can't even pay back $13,000 in credit card debt. Don't you be having kids? Don't you be having kids? No, you can't. Technically, you can't support yourself. I mean, once you become doctor, you'll be making money. You can support yourself. You need to go. See, you have wandered in the desert working your nighttime job, which is awesome. That makes you responsible. That would put you towards becoming a father. I would get out of your medical debt first. I would become established. I would, I don't know what else. I like your car choice though. You need to cook in the oven a little bit more before you're ready to have children. Right? Because I sense, I don't know what else to put it on here, but you're not responsible enough to have kids. And let's shore up our career, our professionalism, our personal financial and life choices before we worry about kids. And on top of it, I know a lot of people like, oh, women be cray cray and all that. And yeah, there's a divorce risk. Children need their mothers. So I know you are like, whoa, the women are just not marriage material. I'm aware. I wrote the book of Numbers, analyzing the ROI in the pursuit of women. I'm aware there's very little wife material, let alone mother material. You want to make your life even harder? Have kids without having a mother around. I'm not saying you got to get married, but if you could find a traditional gal, whether domestically or more likely overseas, and like, you will take care of the children. I will pay for shit. Here's my estate and trust that you will never get any money from. If we divorce, I will pay you this agreed upon amount and not a fucking penny more because it ain't my money. It's in the trust of mom or whatever. That's another thing, although this is for all doctors. Once you get some time, you should immediately talk to an asset protection trusted. You should talk to an attorney that knows how to do trusts. It depends on the state you live. It depends on the state you want to live. But once you get yourself out of debt and you ought to talk to a lawyer on how do I protect my money and my assets. You also run the risk of harming someone because you're not as good of a doctor as you could be. Not that you don't have the potential, right? You ace the like you have the ability. You have good bedside manner. You have responsibility, but then man, you just go and then you brain fart. All right, brain farts could harm someone. And now you're exposed to lawsuits. You don't have as good enough career and all that. So please go watch the movie, or at least the scene. Movie is shit. You could probably find it on the internet. Philip Seymour Hoffman, Patch Adams, speech against Robin Williams. And he's right. They make Philip Seymour Hoffman's character look like the asshole, but he is. He's the asshole everyone needs. I have the chance to become a great doctor, and you treat this like a game. 4, although I've said it before, you run the risk of losing your entire medical career because you have been held to lower standards and suffered no consequences. We talked about you getting sperm jacked, so we got that. Also here, you know what? I'm glad I wrote this down. You know you're ruining the reputation of black people, right? There are black people out there who bust their ass off. They're the Philip Seymour Hoffman version, and they're not just getting by, skating by, acting the fool and acting the clown. When you go out there in public, you are, if we were in Africa, where vast majority of the population is black, this wouldn't matter. You're a black doctor. That's kind of rare, right? You think eyes aren't on you? You think, I don't care whether you got elected or not, or wanted to or not. You are representing black people in the medical profession. And you're saying bitches? Are you still wearing a do-rag? I hope you're not wearing it. I think you know not to wear the do-rag, right? And you come in there You say, oh, yeah, I got a criminal record. Da, da, da. What do you think that does to the reputation of other black people? Doesn't help, right? Whether or not, see, and here's the other thing, minorities in general are a disadvantaged group because women are minority, they're the majority. The problem with affirmative action and people before you, oh, we're oppressed. Oh, woe is us. Woe is like, oh, it has been put up or shut up time for a while. And everybody's watching. And then the gal who landed the plane upside down at Delta, right? Or the gal who actually disobeyed orders, I guess, in the helicopter crash over DC. That one's like, yeah, you didn't listen. Right. So that's a bad mark on women. But using the Delta gal so far, because I have a friend who's a pilot, is like, yeah, actually, that plane and in those conditions, it may not be affirmative action or anything like that. You think the world gives a shit? Did you see how quick everyone was to jump on that? Now they have every right because, like you, lives are in your hands. But just as she is representing women, you are representing black people, whether you like it or not. And you're acting like the Jamaican with your do-rag. Oh, yeah, I didn't pay my credit card, did. Yeah. And what do you think people are going to do when it comes to choosing a doctor? You think they're going to choose a black doctor with you acting like that? Or let's say I've never met Ben Carson. I mean, you could see him. Ben Carson acts like a doctor. Well, he is a doctor. Not only does he act like, not only does he play one on TV, he actually is one. But when that man walks in, he's not fucking around. You can see he is a serious man. Like that he has, he carries himself, his etiquette, his decorum. All right. And by the way, that just doesn't mean how you act bedside. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't tell anyone you got just for you, man. Don't tell people you got a criminal record. Don't tell them that. Don't tell them, oh, yeah, I chinced out on my credit cards. Because now they're like, yeah, I'm not hiring this guy. No. So you got the potential, right? You're still a doctor. But let's stop it with the fuck ups. Let's stop it with the yeah, bitches and I want kids. No. And see, at the same time, I don't want you to not be yourself, right? I don't want you to like sacrifice your personality and then actually go be Ben Carson, who's frankly, when he ran for president, he very droll. Like, yeah, it's kind of who I want. Contrast with the guy I really wanted, that was a previous presidential. Herman Cain was a charming, charismatic motherfucker. That guy was the second coming of Reagan. Man, he passed away now. I'm not saying you got to be Ben Carson where you're just blah, blah, blah. All right, but professionally, yeah. Socially, because you got so much invested in your medical career, you're at a cocktail party, don't curse, right? Just don't curse, right? And okay, you want to let loose and you want to go whatever, curse and swear, chase the bitches. Okay, maybe do that in a town. I have another client who's a doctor. He got hit with that Facebook group of the girls, are we dating the same guy? He had to go to the next town over to start dating girls because he's a very good looking man and very successful and wealthy. Your social life can have a tremendous effect on your career. He had to go to the next town over. Another guy I had, he got into hospital management. He started as a doctor and then they want him to become executive type. And he was having trouble with girls. And I said, well, explain to me what he said. Well, I take him to my downtown condo and I show him my classic car collection. And I let him know that I'm like, no. And they're all hot and young and they want me to take them out and occasionally have sex, but then they leave. I'm like, yeah, no shit. Unfortunately, whether you like it or not, being a doctor, your social life it's a very public figure position. It's the drawback. And so your private life can have an effect. So In other words, in you having spent so much time in medical school and school, you have to protect that investment against things you shouldn't, right? Should you be able to say bitches and hoes? Absolutely. Should you be able to fuck a bunch of women in the town right next to each other and have, oh my God, I can't believe you're just this philandering. Yes, you absolutely should have any effect on your thing. No, look at Bill Clinton. Everybody liked him as president. He fucked a bunch of women and his feminist wife shut the fuck up. Right, Hillary? Right? Right? You're a good feminist, but you're such a good feminist, you let your husband fuck other women. But you ain't Bill Clinton. I'm not here. Bill Clinton didn't invest anywhere near into his education that you did. And you don't play the saxophone either. You're too young to get that joke. Yeah, you got to protect all that investment. And it starts with you stopping being a clown in all aspects. And then, if you need to cut loose or whatever, hop on a plane, fly to Vegas, go get yourself some Hewers in Nye County, not Clark. Prostitution is illegal in Vegas. That's Clark County. You need to go to Nye County where it's legal and let loose there. Because if you don't manage all aspects of your life correctly, you got this thing that could make it so you're never poor for the rest of your life. You can live a very, very good life. That's going to go away. And then you go back to that job you had to work at night, not making the money with $500,000 in debt. Please, here, if you're going to fuck up, wait until you actually work enough years to pay off your student loan debt. So you're not $500,000 in debt and then truly destitute and fucked. All right, link below is the Black Man's Guide Out of Poverty. I don't think you need that one. Achieving financial excellence. Buddy, I don't know what you spend all that money on, credit cards and all that. And please don't become like all the other doctors who go gets a Ferrari and a McMansion they can't afford and they got filed for bankruptcy anyway. I want you to take the course Achieving Financial Excellence. I have that link below so you know what's important. It's weird. Like, you have a sensible car. You want to become a minimalist. It's like, okay, you walk to work, but then what was the money spent on? What? So we got to scratch that itch so you never want to buy a thing you don't need ever again, try taking that course. And then the other one is the dad you never had. Like, I'm glad your parents are still together. Sounds like that. You need your ass kicked again. And maybe somewhere in that course, and this is just for you, but everybody else out there, maybe somewhere in that course are some lessons that your dad should have taught you. All right. Or maybe I'm just such an angry old man that if I had a kid, I'd beat him daily. And then you never visit. Like, I probably go too far the other extreme. Like, he'd come out sharp as a tack and discipline and all that, but he wouldn't visit me in the nursing home. All right. Let's go to the super chats. Jacobo Franco, $2. Does crime really pay? Is the working man a sucker? I mean, yeah, mostly no. It doesn't. The reason crime doesn't pay, Jacobo, is because of the what's it called? Karma effect. If you're committing crime, that's not the only place you are unethical or lazy. If you're committing crime, that means you're a lazy person in all your interactions with everybody else, at work, at play, friends, family, and nobody really wants to hang out with you. And that's how you make money, essentially. The way to make money is to get people to willingly give you money and lots of it. Well, if you're a lazy piece of shit to the point you're doing petty crime or even large crime, that means like you're not the type to go to the gym. You're not the type to be on time. You don't give a shit about anybody else. And people pick up on that and they don't want to hang out with you. And so, no, it doesn't pay. A lot of times you do get busted. And just because you commit a crime and it doesn't get caught doesn't mean you're likely committing more crimes. And inevitably, you will get caught. Now, do some people get away with crimes? Yeah, of course. But no, it doesn't pay. And then if you do more white-collar, highbrow crime, yeah, a lot of times you get away with it, but a lot of times it's not illegal, right? It's unethical, but it's not illegal. Like this .com I worked for, the guy was a scumbucket. He just took investors' money and created this .com company that at the end of the day had no real product. But he paid him and his friends and family executive salaries, and they made off with millions of dollars over several years. Nothing illegal about that. And the working man, he can be a sucker, yeah. Which is why you got to make sure you don't get screwed over by corporate employers, which is why I have a respect for Gen Z lying flat and say, fuck you, we're not. How much? Get the fuck out of here. It's hard. It isn't the days of the 40s and 50s or 60s where it's like you put in an honest day's work, you get an honest day's pay. You gotta navigate so many pitfalls and traps. But that's why, if you're interested, Jacobo, we recommend self-employment. What do I do self-employed? Well, the trades and all that, but that's why I got that course, The World's Greatest Accounting Career, also available on Teachable. Because it's one of the most direct ways to become self-employed and not have to get screwed over by an employer. And you don't have to resort to crime. The ranch dude, $2. Does crime really pay? Is the working man a what are you, the same guy? Albino, 20 generous dollars to your truck search. Thank you. There's an 07 Toyota Tundra 5.7 V8 on sale here in Albuquerque. I had one once sold truck. Will last forever. Will tow 11,000 pounds. Will last 1 million miles. Okay. I am in the market. I got a buddy in Albuquerque. I'll go down there. I just had some once I get an opening, I could start writing the new book. I could get back to my regular workout. Oh, something happens now. I got to fly out again. It's nothing bad. It's family shit where it's like, fuck. Hambone, $2. Have a great week. And thank you, Hambone. Hambone, $5 from an old guy. The hard way is actually the easy way and it builds your strength. Yeah, there's no easy way. There's the hard way and the really hard way. And the really hard way poses itself as the easy way. Sure, Shaniqua, you can major in black female studies. And totes McGoats, you could go become a lawyer and go to law school. And you'll be a girl boss. And then they're just, a 37-year-old pissed off black woman who's got no employable skills and went to a 4th-tier law school. And they're really fucked. But don't critique affirmative action. Don't tell them they can't do that, even if it would prevent them from being $350,000 in debt, unfuckable and miserable. Don't tell them that. Because that would upset a liberal white woman. She'll call you a racist on the internets. Okay, let Shaniqua go $350,000 in the debt. I'm sorry. I forgot. You Democrats just want to keep everybody poor, so they keep voting for. I forgot who I'm talking to. You go, girlfriend. Dre, $2. AI malpractice is greater than human malpractice any day. It's better than human malpractice. Well, I guess human malpractice is conscious, right? We should be using AI. Not with it being wrong 30% of the time. I was working on a book for someone. Someone wanted me to edit their book. And so I went through it and made some changes. And then they put it through Grammarly. And Grammarly just fucked everything up. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, it checks for... No, I check for grammar. I will check for grammar. Actually, I don't check for grammar. I check for syntax and good writing. The girls I hire, they check for grammar because girls love finding the mistakes. They just love finding mistakes. That's what they were born to. You all should get married. Should all get married. But yeah, don't use AI. It's shit. It's shit. Don't use AI. Fan I am to Australian. Thoughts on alpaca socks for hiking or other? I'm not. I've never thought about it. I just go get the white socks. I don't know if they're cotton or whatever. I know TJ Martinell said cotton is rotten. I don't know why. I don't know about alpaca. I never used it. I just use socks. I'd spend more money on the shoes than I would the socks. Worry about the shoes. Vlad Elkum, CPA, $2. Avoid taking on family as clients. Do not do it. Exactly. How you feeling, Chad? You feeling better? All right, that's it. Links to everything down below. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.